Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another wonderful episode of Streams of Consciousness. My name is Hassan Robinson, and usually around this time here we have conscious conversations where we try to elevate the level of consciousness one conversation at a time here on Dominica's broadcasting station. Of course, as we know, today is one of the special days, being Flag Day and World Food Day. But as every night, we tend to have someone who, lends their version of how they perceive life or consciousness. And, just have this open, balanced conversation. The time is now 8:08 p.m. Tonight, we're going to have Ras Siwatu of the House of Nyabingi here with us tonight. I'm going to allow him to do the introductions and introduce himself. Good night, King. How are you? One more time. Try speaking one more time into the mic. Try. Yeah, the one that you have. Keep the one that you have close.
That one there?
Yeah, speak into it.
Yes, I. Greetings.
All right.
Greetings. You and
I can hear you clear.
All right. Yes, sir. Yeah, greetings, family. Greetings to the wider public, international and national. Yeah, my name is Ras Siwatu, also of Nyabingi RastaFari community right here in Whitey Kubuli.
Could you try speaking closer into the mic?
Yes, sir.
Okay, hold on. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to come and try to rectify this problem on your side. We can see you clearly. Presently on Facebook, we can't hear you clearly. But however, it is a bit faint, so I'm just going to try. Okay, yeah.
Okay, let me try that now.
Try the other mic instead.
Yes, sir. All right.
All right, you're speaking.
All right.
All right. Try speaking one more time.
Yes, sir. Greetings,
all right.
family and wider public outside there, international and national.
Yes.
Yes, sir. My name is Ras Siwatu, also Nyabingi RastaFari community right here in Whitey Kubuli. Yeah, good to be here with the brethren, Hassan, on Streams of Consciousness.
Pleasure to have you here, King.
Yeah, man, all the time.
All right.
Yes, sir.
I'm just going to let the music play for a little bit, and we're going to get straight into the program.
All right.
Have you ever wondered what our society would be like if there was more consciousness around, more positivity being displayed on social media and on the airwaves? Well, join me, Hassan Professor Robinson, every Monday on Dominica's broadcasting station between the hours of 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. on a brand new program called Streams of Consciousness, where we seek to raise the level of consciousness one conversation at a time. So, tell a friend to tell a friend that consciousness is back on the airwaves. And remember, stay positive, stay conscious, stay tuned. Yes, and welcome back. So, introductions. As I stated before, our guest tonight here is Ras Siwatu of the House of Nyabingi. Last week we had attorney Ras the Elder Henry Shillingford, and we spoke on. Say that one more time, King.
Kasati.
Ras Kasati, yes.
Kasati
Baran, yes. And so we were speaking on law, consciousness and law, and how to apply that into one's life. Tonight we're going to be speaking on the segment which is understanding our conscious identity. And seeing that today is World Flag Day, we're gonna see how flags, represent or how they connect to our consciousness or identity as a person.
Real thing.
Not just Dominica, but flags in general around the world, but special focus on Dominica, of course. And World Food Day, with a specific focus on water and water being life, but we also know that food is essential. And of course, the Rastafari and Dominica culture in the whole is an agricultural, one of history and that. So we're gonna try and tie these things into tonight's conversation as we try to keep it as cultural and conscious as possible. And yeah, let's just get straight into it. Of course, the flag was part of Dominica's celebrating of the emblems. I believe Chapo Pie was last Friday, so I rocking a look at Chapo Pie in the background,
Yeah.
So Ras Siwatu, when you hear
Yes.
growing up in the Rastafari culture, I know that you guys also have a flag. What does the flag mean, to you as an individual, and what does the flag mean to you as a collective, as to who do you who you represent? How do you connect that, and what does that mean to you?
Well, I'll take it in one cycle. It's like it's the I is like his brethren and sister and is the family. So most of us see this flag as the same way. The flag is an emblem, an emblem of power, an emblem of how you call it grounding and authority and confidence of who you are and where you come from. That you represent not only yourself but the whole wider community and the whole family internationally. For instance, right now the flag of Ethiopia is not original as it used to be because there was one time the flag that we carry as RastaFari family was the flag of that was flying for Ethiopia,
Okay.
and then through different leaders they changed the emblems, the insignias on the flag,
Mm-hmm.
but still the people of Ethiopia have the flag representing, like when we speak of the flag we have the red, gold, and green, or the green, yellow, red. The red in the bottom. There's a time in Ethiopia the flag was up the other way up, like the red was on top, but then that's before it was, and then His Majesty came to change it over because he said like no wonder no more only blood people be swimming in blood.
Yes.
He
Yes.
put the blood down. Now the blood, the red of that flag represent the blood of the people,
Mm.
which is the life. The yellow, the sun, the magnificent. The gold, the power of the soil. And then the green, the ambience, the nature, the fullness of everything, hope, the life.
Yes.
And then in the center of our flag as the Rastafari community we have a lion representing the Lion of Judah. It was at that time His Majesty in 1940 was crowned with the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, conquer Lion of Tribe Ado.
Mm.
And then that was the insignia on the flag in Ethiopia. Just like to us, the flag represents our power. Even our national flag right here in Waitikubli,
Yes.
each color of the flag represents something.
Yes.
And you have the stars in which represent the 10 parishes.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the green. I'm not going to it because I don't know it often, right? But
I'll go into it a little
everything.
later. Yes.
Even like next flag we carry now is the Marcus Garvey flag, which is that national flag, red, black, and green. You might see, and that flag it's also liberated Africa. Like when the president of Ghana said that the the colors of Marcus Garvey helped to liberate the whole of Africa, because like you'll find in some of African countries you see that flag being these colors being flown, three colors, the red, black, and green.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Garvey is up that flag for red for the blood of the people, black for the people, and the green for the hope, the freedom, the land. So these are two flags we carry as Rastafari within all our communities, and we also honor our national flags wherever we may be.
Okay.
Because we are nationals of the wherever the country or the island will be, but international we are one body and we have two flags that we carry international wherever you see Rastafari gathering.
Okay. And I like the fact that you made the last point in that you have the representation of the Rastafari flag as a collective identity. I recognize myself as, or I identify with the Rastafari, like how Christian would identify with the cross or the Buddha with the thing. But however, that does not take away the fact that you were born in Dominica, you were born in Jamaica, and so it's That is what I wanted to get to.
Yeah.
So let's tie this now into consciousness. But before we get into deeper aspects of consciousness, just for respect to Dominica's own history and what our flag means and represent, and to clarify the point that you was making earlier, in that every color has a specific meaning. The yellow, the black, and the white stripes from a triple colored cross, which represents the Trinity of God. The cross itself demonstrates the belief in God, since the Commonwealth of Dominica is founded upon the principles that acknowledge that the supremacy of God. It's just a reminder us here, listen, the Creator is first. And oftentimes, our flag and our Constitution is supposed to represent the consciousness of the Creator first as the founding principles. So Rastafari, of course, and Christianity kind of similar, though, in that you both have a connection with, the Creator. Some saying he's a lineage of the Christ himself, and therefore, take heed to the message and the messenger. So then how do we tie people who say, what, I sell my Dominican flag, I'm an English person, I'm a diasporan. And there's a class sometimes between, a Dominican who is born in Dominica who lives overseas, however, rocks the flag every day 24/7 more than a Dominican staying local. Is that overcompensating for the lack of not being in the place physically, or is that an actual reflection of the person saying, I am Dominican, regardless of me being, either Rastafari, being an American citizen?
I think it's like based on the consciousness of the person, because like sometimes some of us might be in a foreign land and we don't care about the land where we come from, so we might not fly the national flag of that island. Because if you check certain people, like they are proud everywhere they go, they have the flag flying, and being like a national of Whitey Kubuli, I can't deal with the fact that that is where my forefathers laid me. So like I have to represent that and honor the land in a certain way, even like the way we maintain our liberty on the land. We were living in tune with nature. So like we have to represent where we are, as His Majesty say, at that present time. I cannot be in the next man's land, and I fly in the next man's flag. I don't know how he got the liberty, how he got the freedom. I might not be conscious of that, but then I would want to fly my flag where I know where I come from.
Yes,
That's the first thing we have to find out who we are and what makes us who we are. Because you can be in another man's land, but then at the end of the day is where your heart feel content still.
True. All right, and now let's take this to another point now. So you might be in Dominica, but you don't feel like your heart is in Dominica, though. You feel like you better understood. Like if you were to travel, let's say in a place like Canada or America, like they'll better understand me. They have that first world mentality. You can't fault people for feeling that way. For feeling misunderstood or out of place. So take us into that type of conversation, whereby someone who feels like, I love Dominica, but let's be real, let's be honest. Sometimes I just want to leave. So how do you then tell that person, you can want to leave, but you cannot want to leave your identity or disconnect where you come from, or your roots. So how do you do that, though?
Well, okay, in that aspect, right? Because everybody, each individual, right? Though we might be one family and one people, each individual is wired differently. They have a different linking where they connect, the cosmic time they were born, the all them kind of things there. The whole atmosphere builds each individual person unique, right? So like you might find someone might have a skill, right? And then where he finds opportunity for his skill might not be in the land where he is. So he travel and expand on his horizons,
right?
And then carry that skill. And then you find this sometimes these people, they might go out and then they contributing outside there, but then their full focus is to enlighten those in the island within where they came from, to elevate that consciousness. Because some of us sometimes, like when we say, we are small island people, right? And then for previous times, you could find like, because we come from a small island, people think that we don't know anything, and people try to belittle us. But you find the forefathers that went forward they built England. They built all the not much America, but more England. A lot of Caribbean people went to build up England. Right now, you find a big flow into Canada and America. Now, these people, they went over there to do our works, and then in time they build themselves and they maintain themselves. But you find these people are still connected with their home, to family, or sometimes they return on vacation. So like it depends on where your skills or what your interest in life takes you to. Some of us we tend to stay home and then we might go out and then return home, but we want the foundation ourselves in our land.
So every category of person that we talk about here tonight, we can fairly say that we all accept that they are Dominicans regardless, right? As long as their heart is in the right place and they're just doing what they have to do because of the circumstance. Fair enough?
Definitely.
All right.
I mean, their flesh and blood, their roots come from the islands.
Right.
Because sometimes when you find they have certain events like reunions or certain cultural events, certain national events, you find small people come in.
Okay.
Influx, they return home.
So then why is it difficult for a Dominican to accept, yo, you're Dominican, we accept the foundation, the basis. My consciousness of my Dominican identity is mine. However, I say I'm a Rasta, I say I'm a Buddha, I'm a Hindu, I say, I'm a technician, I'm a this, I'm a that. Now, how comes our social identity now creates this level of conflict into our natural and community or communal identity or ancestral identity, in which we just recognized that there's a deep-rooted connectivity with Dominica, regardless of where you're from or what flag you're flying. You are Dominican in that aspect. But then if you decide, your social identity now is another aspect of who you are, it sometimes clashes with your cultural beliefs. I'm a Dominican. This is what Dominicans do. We speak patois. They say bread and dash, whatever. I'm just hyper extending
Yeah,
the thing.
dashing.
And I'm like, nah, I'm a Dominican too, but I like, something different. I like a little veggie thing. I like a little whatever. They're like, oh, you're Rasta man. No, it's just that you like certain things, right? So now let's tie that consciousness into our food. Now today's World Food Day. Now we have our cultural dishes in Dominica. Now we have a lot of ITIL conscious dishes in the RastaFari thing. Let's talk about someone who is a conscious individual who may like, the cultural foods, but then those cultural foods clashing against his religious or his spiritual dishes, what he consumes. So let's talk about those things.
Oh, in that sense, like sometimes is a transition, right? Because some people, for instance, as Rastafari, the highest level of Rastafari, we eat no flesh. We have no animal products. It's your plants we live on, right? So like, people would criticize us or chastise us a lot, but then they get to realize that what we say all the time is real. Because a human being, look at our teeth, look at our intestines.
Yeah.
We're made with plants, not flesh. Because we don't have our intestines are so long. They hang on the acid. If you check animals that eat flesh, they are short intestines. They creating fast more acid, but our intestines are long. So like,
I eat flesh though, Rasta. I don't know this.
no, well, it's just a learning process, because sometimes something one word I might tell you might just make you conscious and find out what you're doing.
Yeah,
because
man.
like, trust me, tell you the truth, brethren.
Mm-hmm.
Since I leave school, right, for over 40 years, I haven't eaten any animal products.
Wow.
And like, I don't feel weaker than the other man. I can last as long in my work as do everything I do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel weaker than anybody else. And then it's just a matter of elevating your consciousness. Because sometimes you feel like, to me, my experience that caused me that, because when I grew up, I had a lot of animals. I grew up in the countryside, and because I had a lot of animals to take care of, right? So in the morning, I even have to take care of my animals. Now, a Sunday come and I see man and I'm killing the animal I take care of. My grandfather, I'm killing the animal I take care of. That was heartbreaking, my brother. So that thing just led me to dislike the taste of just killing an animal to eat it.
Okay.
Trust me, and I just grew up with that consciousness, and then I found RastaFari found that to put by that line, and then I'm confident, because like, our national dishes, we love our national dishes, but one thing we always put in our national dishes, like all local. Everything, most things you see in national dish are local products. And we must big up our island for because like, we're creating everything. Even as Rastafari, we have national dishes where like, when people eat, they'll try to ask what is in that pot, because we cook our food different.
Right.
We take everything from the garden, we can prepare a pot and then a different taste. We'll make it healthy, because we understand what we're doing over the years. I mean, before, when the elders just started to learn the life, they were not so like, we had the knowledge of nutrition and this and that. We just trying something, just went into it, and then they start practicing, and then from there it start ironing out, and then we find like right now we have herbalists that are Rastafari elders.
Right.
So then they research the roots of the food process, the nutrients, everything that is within the plants, so we know what to put with what and how to prepare our meals. Like the great Dr. Sebi. Dr. Sebi was in Dominica, but through like the ignorance of our leaders at that time, they fought the man, and they get him out of the land, because like the
Back to the cultural norms again.
You
That
know,
was not a socially accepted type of view of things or how to live or even medicine at the time.
you know.
So yeah, it goes back to awareness. And so now that we are aware, right, I too am aware of what I consume and the levels. It also led me to research soil.
Exactly.
I was speaking of Almario, Dr. Almario Kazim, who always speaks about the importance of preservation of our soil. And
Exactly.
right now, it's not really spoken as much. But then the soil quality around the world, not just Dominica, has diminished so much because of we wanting fast food and aesthetically pleasing food that looks good. So take for example tomato. So they have genetically modified tomatoes that are expected to last 2 weeks on the shelf without having any blemishes. A natural tomato by the third day or whatever, it should show some sign of changes or growth, right? So the natural one would have more nutrients. However,
Hmm.
the artificial one would have less because of the genetically modified stuff. Even the natural ones now, without any chemical things in there, are producing less nutritional value simply because of the soil quality, the pesticides, all of these things that are going on internationally. So even if you were to eat, let's say, one tomato now will give you the value of, let's say, a quarter of a tomato 10 years ago. So
Yep.
you have to now consume a lot more vegetables and food, but at the price though of the cost of living, it's very difficult to maintain a nutritional lifestyle, yet still, try to maintain a budget. However, Dominica, on the other hand, we're still blessed with very fertile. So I understand what you're saying. It's very important for us to recognize that, but I still love my flesh. Not saying that, um,
Respect.
you know, because when I do
Yeah,
the
man, yeah, man.
calculations, bro, I'm like, if I have to spend $50 on something, I might as well spend $50 on something that is not as bad, to my natural health, and then make up for it in a different way, drink more water or whatever. But just be conscious of the budget and what I'm allowed to eat. But I'm not just consuming it as just a pleasing thing, just to let people understand the levels of
Really.
consciousness as well.
Yeah, man. Because that's something that might be the problem because like food preparation, the production of food, was supposed to be the most easiest thing in the world.
Right, right.
But for the complication where previously most of our lands or big lands were they were like production not for markets not on our land. So you find all the farmers or elders are farmers or grandparents are farmers were indoctrinated into using different kind of chemicals that we had no idea at that time what would the effect would be. Now some of the land you find like some of them abandoned, they cannot grow proper crops because they haven't got the nutrients. Whereas if you had you check just look like probably the natural farmer, natural home
Organic,
home
yeah.
farmer that might have been planting his crops naturally all season, his land is still fertile
Right.
because all he does is just turn around the ground, rotate his crops, and his plant wasn't like for instance a whole like just plant monocropping
Right.
because that's the important thing. Like as you say, Doctor Mario, so like the importance of the soil because
Yeah.
it's to like we live in a conscious area where we're saying like most of what that was practiced before,
Mm-hmm.
the ignorance that was practiced before, it's taking us right back in our face right now.
And not just practice, but taught and
Exactly.
indoctrinated.
You know.
Um, Ras Siwatu, King Siwatu, it's now 8:32 p.m. I think it's a perfect time to segue into some musical vibes. Then we're gonna get back into a 30-second meditation, and we're gonna go deeper into tying in our consciousness now and how we can apply that during this independent season. What does it even mean to be independent and conscious during these times?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Living in the positive. And I know good will conquer evil. Jah is here amidst the battle. And I know love will overcome hatred. Oh, yeah. Living in the positive. What you done? Let not your hearts be troubled. Wipe away your tears and fears. Cause I know love will conquer evil. Oh, oh yeah. And positive. And I know good will conquer evil. Jarizera amidst the battle. And I know love will overcome hatred. Oh yeah, living in the positive. Oh children, let not your hearts be troubled. Wipe away your tears and fears. Cause I know love will conquer evil. Oh.
Yeah, no, just living in the positive moments, you know. Streams of consciousness. Of course, tonight I'm here with Ras Siwatu of the House of Nyabingi. We're paying special attention to identity or conscious identity. Of course, recognizing Dominica, recognizing World Flag Day today, or Dominica Flag Day, as well as World Food Day or International Day of Food. We try to tie, you know, the physical with the spiritual, as well as the social and cultural history. I believe we've been doing a very good job. You know, trying to let us understand that, you know, consciousness means our awareness and how we look at things. And, you know, if we collect our collective consciousness, we can look at things from a multitude of ways, multitude of angles, open-mindedness, of course. And what better way to do that than to be living in a positive way? Be looking at things in a positive way, in a positive manner, looking for positive outcomes and, you know, positive solutions to problems.
From day to day, shall make our way, and believing in the positive. Struggle and the tough, take sorrow, and then we're living in the positive. Keep on living, boy. And we're living in the positive. Trample down all negativity. Good God, love, we're living. Living.
And just like that, the Dominique Queen, Ophelia Marie, a very deep, very conscious woman. We had her here, and her husband, you know, Matt Marie. You know, her passion, you know, Ophelia and music are one. There's no separation between Ophelia and music, you know, I must say. And equally so, I must say, is her, you know, her levels of consciousness and viewing on life. So, listening. I'll use this time, you know, to pay special attention, pay special recognition to the many viewers and constant viewers of the program and listeners of the program. I meet people constantly on the daily. Yo, Hassan, I listen to your program on Monday. I'd just like to say I thank and appreciate all of you, you know, especially Dominica's broadcasting station for allowing me the opportunity to even, you know, just have these conversations and allow people their voice to look at things differently in an open-minded way, you know. Usually I try to respond after the program because it's a bit of a juggle for me to do these, you know, multitude of tasks and still keep a conscious face on camera, you know. However, you know, much respect and kudos to all the DBS staff who do this on a daily basis, make it look like it's easy, you know. That's right. All right, so we're gonna get back into our conversation here with Ras Siwatu. The time is now 8:39 p.m. And like I said, we were speaking on consciousness, or the topic of tonight's discussion. Let me just pull it up real quick here. The topic of tonight's conversation, we'll be speaking on understanding our conscious identity, paying a special recognition to Dominica Flag Day and today being World Food Day as well. We're here with Ras Siwatu, and we're going to take our conversation to a deeper level. We spoke on, what flags mean to different people, the identification process of it, how we perceive ourselves, as well as our social identity. We spoke a bit about food and how food and culture impacts our decision making in health and our conscious views on how we perceive things. And we're just going to take it now into another level in connecting food and the importance of food preservation or sustainability. We've been hearing that talk a lot, being able to be self-sustainable, but being able to be self-sustainable as a collective country, I believe, stems from being able to be self-sustainable as an individual. So how do we then, Ras Siwatu, connect or symmetrize or make a symmetry between, our identity and, our cultural beliefs?
Little Island, right?
One more time. Sorry about
That's
that.
it. Aye, good. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I still like, we, as a people, we are blessed in that island. Up we born, they say that, we don't understand after God is the earth. So that means we put in the Almighty first in everything we do before, and then comes the earth, which is a land where we fortified, we are blessed. Is like, I say food is the key to the existence, and water. So we have abundance of food and water in our land. So like the whole idea is to preserve nature, to love Mother Nature once and for. Because if you don't love Mother Nature, you might just want to rip the harvest from and not return your responsibilities to the earth. Because something we don't really take for heed here, like we don't take heed of it, but it's natural. Like I always respect the Indians, the ancient Indians, especially from Canada and the northern tribes, because like they always pay an homage to the soil, to the mother, the earth.
Mm-hmm.
So that is showing like without the earth we are nothing, and that's why the land we have to take our call it, we have to take a step back sometimes,
Right.
and just look at the earth. In the morning when you rise, just look around you. Take a deep breath and inhale, and just the fact that you have life, the essence that gift that you were given from comes from your whole environment. Because the things that sometimes.
So how do we tie that into self-sustainability, though? Being able to, take the Indian culture, our historical culture, and what we know, and tie that into self-sustainability and, independence. That's what I was trying to get to. Tie that into independence and cultural, our self-identity and our cultural identity as to being independent, and, that type of thing.
Because that culture teaches you to first to be independent, where you have to know who you are, you have to know yourself, right? You have to know what your purpose is there. It's very important. Like, and then the whole idea is like, we as a people, it's probably 75% of us in Dominica, like, we have an access to, or we have a place where we know that we can get fresh produce. Like the first thing in our land, to be able to, like, as an island, that we can, most of the foods that we need, 75% of it's supposed to be from our land. First of all, because like, basically, there's nothing that we can. Okay, there's nothing that in land. For instance, check after Maria and those kind of storms that are happening to us when we are locked out from the outside world. Most of us get to survive probably a quarter of the time without any input somewhere outside. Because why? That's why I say we are blessed. We are blessed island, and we have to be conscious of that, because that makes us who we are. That gives us that independence, that as an individual. And then from that, we as an independent, as a nation. Because the reason why our forefathers fought for the independence, because they saw that they could depend on their own, they could stand on their own, right? They could do things within the island to promote that income to sustain themselves. So like from the fact that as an individual we can rise up, like I said, like in the morning, first thing as an individual you have breath of life, so then that keeps you on the power that when you're conscious of who you are, you're supposed to be able to know how to make your runs for a day. And then first of all, food, clothes, and shelter. That's the key. That's what we call the key commodities. Like individuals, we always have to depend on ourselves. Or sometimes, if we are working people, we go to work, and then we know that in Dominica, the first thing or independence come like it wasn't easy sometimes when we had to fight to be an independent person. Because even here right now, although our economy not that strong for some of us, even though we work in 24/7 and our economy not strong, we know how to we're trying to get to the survive on a daily basis. Because each family, each mouth need food, each mouth need water, they need shelter, they need clothes. So each family has to try to struggle to do what they're doing. And in the end, the thing I can be glad for is that we are not the people that have to buy all our products we need from outside. We have probably some of us might have family that have land, or we have the access to get it. Even though we have to buy certain things at the end of the week or when we need from the market or from vendors, but there at least 25% of our produce can come from in island, and it's cheaper for us to get it because it's produced in our island. So like that's where independence come, like as an individual. It's really hard to make up our mind because sometimes growing up, everything might be provided for you by your parents, but at a certain time in your life you have to realize that is my journey. My parents led the way to a certain extent, and then right now we have to take it another level to go forward. So like.
I understand. So I'm listening to you, and I'm capturing, despite the challenges, the independent attributes of a person to do whatever it is that they need to do in order to ensure that that their needs are met on an individualistic level. It is aided by family or friends or people who are able to help you out.
That is where we come, like as the community,
this is the community, right? So this is part of the cultural thing, but it also sounds like it is the basis of survival. In order for you to survive,
exactly.
you need
other people.
You need other people as well.
You need a community. You're not alone.
Right. So survival doesn't necessarily mean you as an individual entity. In order for consciousness to survive, we would need more people to interact on a conscious level. In order for agriculture to survive, you would need more people to collaborate in an agricultural mind frame and do that type of thing. In order for our Dominican cultural principles to survive, we have to maintain and perpetuate certain habits that we describe to be Dominican, right?
Yes, sir.
So then my thing is here, I want to elevate the level of consciousness one conversation at a time. Therefore, in turn, I'm kind of planting conscious seeds whereby that will become part of Dominican culture. We just have it's a regular thing to have a conversation, a conscious conversation. This now ties into Rastafari and the identity of, whenever you talk to a Rasta man, it's always a consciousness and a food and an ital and so that's the identity, that the flag that you carry. So the identity of Dominica now, it seems that I believe we could have a little more consciousness in the definition of what it means to be Dominican.
Definitely.
So that is one of the contributions in terms of my food for thought, and some of the cultural diet, if you want to call it, because we assimilate food physically, mentally, spiritually, and consciously as well.
Yes, sir.
So that's one of the contributions. So the time is now 8:48 p.m. I want us to know what is the update on the Nyabingi family as well, because I know you guys had a recent thing on the Red Rock area over the weekend, I believe it was, or is it something that's coming up? And also, seeing that we are, celebrating independence, Dominica emblems and that type of thing, what are some of the things that the culture, the community on your side has been, actively pursuing or doing?
Well, actively as the younger ones, the youths in the core, because like right now we're seeing the banner is on our, banner is in our hand, the mantle is in our hand, so we have to carry it on. Our elders there, like our elders, we just state where like they are just elders, so respect them for the journey they brought liberty to. Now, we as young ones, we try to make it. For instance, important thing that as well as the fry going up in Waitikuli, our financial stability was rocky. Like we never had a stable financial within the RastaFari community. So that's where, as young ones, we take it that journey. As Nyabingi family, we're trying to establish solid financial, economic business for our family.
Okay.
So like you find what happened with Rock is like there's a sister up there, like she normally has these events, like she been out singers and plays the instruments on a monthly basis. So we as the younger generations, we have like that core of brethren and sister that into the musical vibes. So like expressing themselves on lyrics and within songs. So we gravitate to those events there.
Yes.
And then it brings out like a connection with the wider body of Rastafari and within the community to spread the consciousness, as we say, around the island. Because like even this Saturday that passed there, we were in Tarish Pit by Sister Danny and brother like Bordio.
Yes.
You know, doing it's like we always grow, because like certain times that we have a seed might be planted, it might take a long time to be like a gummy tree. It takes a long time to bring maturity and grow, right? So right now we find the roots of Rastafari, the Nyabingi family, is taking roots where like we find ourselves in different little communities where they're asking for us as the younger ones into community in the community, just being like a stream of consciousness flowing.
Yes,
you know, just go because when we go out there, like sometimes we go out there and we might take it just like a hobby also, and that's a game. But when we go outside there and people ask us to come and do a session for them, you know, we go outside there with chanting. Because we have to go and tell the people, but then we know what we have to tell them. But how are they going to accept it? Yeah. So we still have to go with the community and find and mingle with people, grounds with people to know how they live in. Sometimes, as we say on this mic, we just be freestyling sometimes, because like you find a brother might come down and like, and I take them and just throw a reading for him, but then when he passes through the community, he feels certain vibes. So that same reason, you know, that same vibe, if it comes down on the rhythm, and then the people and them feeling it, so like because we sing out what they feeling, what they live in. So they'll always be connected to us. So that's where we find as Rastafari. We grow from like, we have our tabernacle in Gambia, but we go from being out in the tabernacle, gathering as a family, feeling out one another. Right now we can go through the communities and feel out the community and put their word, their struggles into words.
Yes.
And let them feel a kind of comfort within that liberty.
Yeah, man. Speaking about the comfort and the conscious liberty, you also mentioned Empress Danny, right?
Yes, sir.
We're looking to have her on this program as well. So if you're listening, looking forward to having that conversation with you, be it in person or Zoom. You know how it is on this program. The day it is the day it is, you know?
RastaFari.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
So we're looking forward to having that type of conscious conversation. The time is now 8:52 p.m.
Time does slide, man.
Yeah. You know, we still haven't really touched the full surface of, you know, what it means to be, you know. But we definitely, I believe, shared a good amount of information. The next program comes up at 9 p.m. I just want to give the next guy, let's say, 5 minutes to prepare himself. But let people know your closing words. You already allowed them, you know, to know what's going on. But then just a few remarks, you know, let people know what's going on one more time. And just a few parting words, as you would.
Yes, sir. You will. You know, close one just a word for the time, you know, because like.
Word for the time, yes, sir.
Because like, you know, as Rastafari community, we're always calling for the people that be conscious and be positive in what they're doing. You know, especially like we have that season coming up there, that reveling state where we're going to have a lot of reveling and, you know, a lot of activities. Yes. Be careful on the road, man, especially, you know, and then especially in the conducting yourself on the how you drive on the road and how you ride on the road. My brethren on the bike, my sister and them on the vehicle, my brethren and sister both on bike and vehicles. Be cautious on the road, because one life we have, and the road is only a place to get us from point A to point B. Yes. You know, not a place where we fight in war, not a battlefield outside there. We have to be conscious on the road, because like we know, like in those events tend to carry a lot of incidents where some people might be left crying and just saying that. Yeah. We're just trying to call on people to be conscious, you know, and just take it easy. And as a Rastafari community, our aim is to just bring the consciousness, connect with all brethren and sisters around the island. In time to time, you might find a core of us might be in different villages, and that's how we're growing. Because like this land is our land, this land is our ancestors' land. We came through that land because we have a mission to be there. We have a purpose to be here, and we have a reason to be here. So as we live our lives, day to day, the consciousness flowing, we take our time and we understand why we are here, to establish ourselves as a people, to bring harmony to our people. Because like in White Kubli, I think the problem in our island because we take our name as Dominica, and Dominica means Domi in cans, and like that is a dangerous name to call the people.
Well, I call us Dominic Kings, you know.
We have to change the word because sometimes.
Yeah, but
that's why we call it place White Kubli because White Kubli means tall lies the body can never be conquered. Yeah. So you find that's an ancient name. Yeah. So like word song is power.
Yes, sir.
We have to be cautious of the things that we say. Because sometimes the things that we say we might just throw it outside there, but then it has a 360 coming returning to us.
Yes.
In our mirrors. So like as our people, the most we can do, just banish all the hate and the jealousy, man. Yes. Like we are one family. No matter where we go, White Kubli people are one family. Because you go over outside there, you'll always look out for your brethren or your sister. So please do it no island. See? And let the love and harmony play flow, man.
I agree. 1,000 on that one.
All the time.
Yes, sir. For the last 30 seconds here on my end, I'm just gonna do a quick meditation. I wouldn't mind if you join me.
Real thing.
All
the time.
Yes, sir. So gonna breathe in. Breathe out. Yeah. Breathe out. Catch your breath. Yes, this appreciating life one time, the breath of life one time, Take it easy on the road, the physical, mental, and the spiritual road of life. And remember your identity, what you identify as, and who you are, So stay positive, stay conscious, and stay righteous. Stay tuned. Streams of Consciousness. Ras Siwatu and Professor signing out.
RastaFari. Guidance and protection, family.
Yes, sir.
Remember, it's one vehicle, your body is one temple, one vehicle, you have drive that vehicle carefully.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I used to say.
Across the Caribbean, you listen. Across the world, you listen. And at home in the nature isle, you listen. You listen to DBS for unbiased coverage of breaking news, original programs, and so much music. You listen for the information that will change your lives and the humor to brighten your days. So here at DBS Radio, we deliver. We deliver timely news,